So I recently had the bright idea of turning a bunch of different objects into humans. And before you say anything, I am aware that there is a whole game dedicated to that concept that came out a couple months ago. But that is what inspired me and how I got the idea. It's a really cool concept, you know, I think it really forces you to be creative and think outside the box and, you know, just take your own twist on things. I think that's a really good and important skill to have as a character designer. So today we'll be personifying 4 different objects: a flip phone, a teddy bear, a lamp, and slime. Let's get right into the video. My plan for approaching this challenge was simple. Based on the images, I would make a list of characteristic qualities that could be applied to both the object and a human. And then I just kind of scrolled on Pinterest till I got the right vibe for the character. I decided to start with the flip phone character. When approaching the character, details I put down were over-communicator, cold, techie, emotional walls, expensive, efficient, and nerdy. I was getting a cold finance guy vibe, maybe even sexy secretary. He's very analytical, almost robotic, kind of a perfectionist and super duper clean. Now, while drawing him, I really wanted to pull features from the phone itself. So I made his jacket buttons match the buttons and screws on the phone, and his hair cowlick represents an antenna. I also tried to keep him in a very boxy, angular shape to reflect his cold personality, but also how it's the shape of a phone. Even the button up under his jacket is supposed to look like the lines on the screen. I really try to push the perfectionism and cold-hearted nature of this character in this design. In the end, I really do love how this turned out, and it's still one of my favorites to this day. Now, my next character was the slime. This one was fun, but also really challenging because how do you turn a blob into a person? Anyways, my list for her was sparkly, pink, childish, fun, and party fave. I was drawing a lot from the Pinkie Pie aesthetic and basically trying to imagine what Pinkie Pie would look like if she was a slime and not a pony. I wanted to give her these really long, droopy pigtails to represent how slime drips. Eventually, I started finding a lot of Gyaru references that I really resonated with, so I combined Pinkie Pie fan art and Gyaru fashion to create the slimy character. The character definitely is now one of my favorites. She turned out so amazing, and I really love the transparent effect I gave her hair, and all the accessories on her feel like the sparkles and fun stuff that you put into slime to give it texture. Next was the lamp. My list for this was bright, easily turned on and off, center of attention, Leo energy, and antique. This lamp has a very vintage vibe mixed with the stained glass that you often see in churches. But another feature that stood out to me was the shape of this lamp. It's got this shape similar to a very curvy woman, and I wanted to implement that into her design, giving her very prominent hips and a skirt that flares out similar to the base of a lamp. At first, I wasn't sure how I wanted to incorporate the lampshade into the design due to its awkward shape as a top. However, I figured keeping the original top actually could work since it's similar to a baby doll top shape. Last but not least was the teddy bear. His characteristics are cuddly, cute, hairy, thick, and brown. Very simple. Now, teddy bears are a cuddly item that most people have had in their life at some point. So I wanted to give him a dated look that was still very stylish. I noticed the necktie the bear wore and wanted to give the character that, and it got me thinking about Fred from Scooby-Doo, which translated into men from the 70s. I saw a guy with bell bottoms and a scarf on Pinterest and thought that's the one. I saw a lot of teddy coats and a fro and thought that really could help add on to the furry aspect of his character design. I also thought adding little black circle glasses would be a great way to represent the little beaded black eyes that a lot of the bears have. I also decided to add a tag to his leg like most stuffed animals have to give him a toy-like feel, and I really love how he turned out. This was a really fun challenge. If you are ever interested in character design, I would definitely recommend this because it really forces you to think outside of the box. Anyways, this is all I have for you guys today. Till next time.